exciting for us, Bonnie. All right. We're live. Okay. People are rolling in.
Welcome.
Oh, yeah. Welcome, everyone. We always like to ask this question. If you've joined us before, where are you watching this from? Where are you located today?
Where in the world are you?
Yeah, where in the world? Let's see. Ooh, someone said so excited. Mexico.
Memphis, Portland, Austin, Key West, Arkansas, Alabama,
San Jose, Illinois, Texas Gulf Coast,
Wales, Wisconsin.
I have never.
Not
England. Nebraska GBR. There's always one in there. I love it. I love it. It's so awesome. Yeah, this is going to be pretty cool, you guys. I was just telling before this, I was like, man, this webinar is exciting. A lot of people, I mean, we've been waiting for this for so long. We've been because we had sales workshop last week. And so we had to sit on this and we are like, oh, we can't wait for this webinar. And now it's finally time. So it's super exciting that we're here now.
No, this has been a long time coming. Super excited about it, and really interested to hear just what you all think as you jump in and start using some of the automations tools that our team's been building. So we're really excited about it because we see how impactful it can be to you, the time that it can help save you, how it can help raise the bar in terms of the client experience that you deliver day after day.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I know we have a lot to go through in here too, and we don't want to keep this waiting from you. But really quick though, before we move any further, let's introduce ourselves. So if this is the first time you're seeing Travefy, we are so happy that you're here and super excited. And just to introduce myself, I'm Stephanie Grice, do education things. So if you join us on other webinars, you'll probably hear and see me again, as well as Bonnie from the team as well, who was my co-pal last week sales workshop. It's awesome.
Woo, excited to be here. It feels like we were just here.
I know it is. Yeah. And then we have Scott too. So Scott was were you tanning like in Florida last week?
Yes, I flew to Florida to sit in a tanning booth so that I could get my glow on. No, my kids were on fall break. So we found the cheapest airline tickets to a beach, and we ended up on Madeira Beach, south of Tampa in Florida. And we just played on the beach for 3 days straight. I built a monster sandcastle with some help from my kids. If you know me, I'm a nerd, and I do like building sandcastles. It's silly, but it's true.
That sounds amazing, especially as the weather's getting, sounds perfect. I love that. Well, we're excited to have you here, Scott. This is going to be a good time. And I know this is gonna we'll have a lot of questions. So that's also why we have multiple people on this webinar. So we can try to get to as many questions as possible. So I do want to mention two important things. One, this is being recorded. So if you have to hop off, or if you have colleagues who weren't able to join, that's okay. This is recorded. We'll make sure to get this on our YouTube channel fairly quickly, but you'll also be able to go back to that Zoom registration and watch it right after as well. So we will be there. It'll live on forever. But then, of course, we will have time at the end for questions. So feel free, if you do have questions throughout the webinar, you can put that in the chat. So Bonnie's going to be like rapid firing, and Scott, they're going to be really trying to getting them ready. Yes, it's going to be insane. So try to use that Q&A panel if you can, because it is a little easier for us to manage. So use that Q&A panel. And then hopefully we'll be able to get those questions answered. I do want to say, though, one thing. If we don't get your question answered, just know that our support team is on the other end, ready to help. We have that live chat. We have email support. We even can do one-on-one training. So if we're going through this and you're like, whoa, I need more training on this, we got you. So do not fret. We can help you out there. So just keep that in mind as I'm going through. But what the plan is for today. So the agenda. So first, we don't want to bury the lead here. We're gonna show you automated workflows right away. We will jump in because we want to introduce you to our good friend Automated Workflows and just show you how it works. So we're gonna start there, which is really exciting. But then I'm gonna take a couple steps back. After we show you all the new, awesome, fun stuff, I want to take a step back and walk through an actual workflow of utilizing this function, but also adding in the ability to utilize forms and contacts within Travefy. So again, if you're new to Travefy, you'll get to see multiple parts of the system today and see the whole workflow breakdown of, collecting traveler information and then organizing it and then setting up those tasks and even automating them. So we're going to walk through all that. And then after that, at the very end, I'm going to walk through a couple automated workflow examples. So we're going to go really deep in. So just in a couple minutes, I'll do kind of more higher level, but then at the end, we'll really dig in deeper and show you some examples of what you can set up. So it's going to be a good time. So are y'all ready? You guys ready for this?
Do this. Let's get in.
Okay, here we go. Okay, so first, automated workflows meet the automation. You're going to hear us say, by the way, automation, automated workflows, very similar things, but there is different things you can do with this. One of them being that you can automate forms. So in Travefy, you can create a form to collect any type of information you need, including waivers or credit card authorizations. So now you can automate those forms. So whether you're collecting, a deposit and then payment information or whatever it might be, you can automate them. You can still send them manually, but now you can automate them. Same with trip invites. So whenever you send a trip, you know how you're able to create a custom message? Well, that's a trip invite. So now you can automate that as well. So think of it, I know one of the biggest ones that I've heard users who are using this already is like their Bon Voyage email. So now when it's a day before the trip, they can send a custom message. Or I hear, I saw just on their Facebook group the other day, someone mentioned as well that they're always working on their client's itinerary so late into the evening that sending that at that time just doesn't make sense. So now you can actually just automate it. You can just send it at a certain time and date, which is super thrilling. So it's really cool. I'm really excited about this being in the platform now.
Yeah, it's really powerful. There are a few things that I'm personally really excited about from being here from the beginning at Travefy and speaking with so many advisors over the years. This brings together so much of the customer feedback we've been hearing over the last few years, where advisors want one system and not have to jump around all of the time, that they're also getting really busy. They're riding the wave of demand and they need help in managing these tasks and saving time and being more efficient. So it brings together so many different pieces of feedback to help not let things slip through the cracks, help you be able to keep track of more information, have great record keeping along in the process when you're talking about client forms and things like that, helps you stay organized, but then also gives you time back in your day, gives you time back in your week that you can focus on your family, you can reinvest into your business. There's so many ways that it's helpful. One of the things that we won't get into in full detail today, but I think is really powerful, is all of the different ways you can use this. With automated workflows, if you work with groups or you work with deposits very frequently, now you can set up an automated workflow that then sends a secure PCI compliant credit card authorization to your clients at specific times leading up to the trip, so that you can gather credit card authorizations for each one of their deposits along the way to be able to then turn over that information to your suppliers. Then every payment secured with a credit card authorization. So there are a lot of really great ways that you can use this that are really exciting. But even better, this is just the beginning. Our team has built the foundation so that then we can do even more powerful things with automations in the future. So look for more to come, but also know your voice is so valuable in that process. So share that feedback in our Facebook group, share that feedback in the live chat within our customer support channels, because we want to hear that feedback. That's where you help guide us, you help push us to make a better and better platform for you.
Mm-hmm. Well said. That's so true. So please do, after this as well, we do this with every webinar, but we're really excited about this one specifically since this is the first time we've put automated workflows out there, but we'll share your feedback and questions with the rest of our team so they get a good idea too of, what you're thinking, all that good stuff. So it's going to be really cool. But one thing I did want to do is I shared just on a slide here about, the different ways that you can automate, but I do want to actually go into my account and just give you a high level overview so you know where you can find these and how you set them up. And then of course we'll come in and we'll do more of a deeper dive. But really quick in my account, I can show you a couple different places where you would set up these automated workflows. And the two main spots is one within a trip. So within a trip, you might have tasks going on in here where you might have like a pre or post task list that you set up and it's sending like the Bon Voyage email or a trip invite that says like, have you downloaded the app? If not, here's how, whatever it might be. So you can always set those up directly in here. Just click the add button once you get in the tasks and automation area. And then you can just choose automation. So now you'll be able to see that automation option. And what's really great about this is you can choose if it's only going to specific people, like if this is a group trip, or is it going to everyone? And then you can also set up, okay, are you sending the trip invite? Okay, if so, do you want to put a custom message here? And remember, you can save custom messages as well. So you can pick like that Bon Voyage or whatever you might have in there. And then you set that date. So you can set the date and then you can also set it to automatically go out at a specific date depending on the trip date. So as you see here, like maybe I want to go out 3 days before the trip start date. So it just filters in that date automatically for you, or you can choose a fixed date as well in there. And same thing with the form, you just choose the form option and then you just will select, so you'll want to create the form first in your account. And then once you create that form, you'll be able to search for it. And then you will go ahead and you'll be able to put all the information in here. And then again, choose a fixed date or an automatic date. So really easy, honestly. And then the other thing you could do is you can also set up these automated workflows within a specific client or to send to a specific person. So to do that, you would go into your contacts, which is, your simple CRM in here, and you'll just click on a client profile. So if you need to add a client, you can do that, which we'll get into here in a bit. But you can see right here in this task area, this has already been in here, but now when you click add, you now will see the option for automation. So again, it looks the same as we just saw on the trip side, where you can now choose the form and you can say, okay, when is this going to go out? And just a heads up, we'll come back to this at the end, but this is a great place where Scott was mentioning how you can set up, those deposits, those payments, easy to do in here as well. And then the even really cool thing that we'll do at the end is you can actually set up what we call trip task lists. And that's one of the great ways to set this up, where you can create a whole task list and then import it into a trip or import it into a client profile. So you don't have to manually set these up every time. So we'll be sure to walk through that, but it's just so cool. We can't stop talking about how awesome this is. So with that, I just want to go through, just show you where to find it in your account. That's where it's living. Now, what I want to do next, though, is I want to go back. I want to take a step back out. And now that you have met automated workflows, now we want to talk about how does this work in line with other tools within Travefy. So we're going to start off with collecting information by using forms. So maybe you're collecting the information from the new traveler or your client. And then once you get that, you then are going to go in and organize it, and it'll be saved within contacts. And then from there, once you have all their information organized, then the automated tasks and workflows might start happening. So that's how we're going to walk through it here today. So let's jump in here. Really excited. Okay, so first things first, Forms. So that's where we're going to start, because again, before we get to those workflows, we want to start getting information and know who these clients are, what trips are they going on, all that kind of stuff. So I want to do a quick overview, and just let me mention too that I'm only planning to spend about 5 minutes in forms and about 5 minutes in contacts. So if there's any questions or you want me to go further into it, put that in the chat. But we also have other FAQs and videos that walk through more, but just a heads up on that. So any questions, put those in and we will probably be able to answer those. So with the forms, so your forms, if you're unfamiliar with them, they are going to live in what's called your library. Now, your library, when you get on your Travefy account page here, you'll see library at the top. You'll click library, and this is where it's going to live. Now, this is where, if you ever save like resort information or transfer, whatever it might be, it's living in here as well. But this is also where your forms live and where you can create them. So when you want to create a form, all you do is you go in your library, click new library item, and then you are going to choose form. And here's a great thing. The form is so easy to make. It's very similar if you're used to using other tools for forms. It's very similar where, you'll give it a title. We'll just say form example. We do have templates, so you can pull from a couple templates that we already have created. But otherwise, you're just going to click add new. And you can decide, is it a question? You can also add like a text or image. So if you ever want to put like your logo at the top or a photo description, you can do that. But I'm just going to say question. And then all you do is just type in your question and then choose what type of response do you need. So like example, let's say, what is your full name? And then I can add additional information like as shown on your passport or something like that. So you can give more details if you need. Is it required? Things like that. So that's how you make a form. Pretty simple, straightforward. Now, whenever it comes to credit card authorization, that's a big one. So we do offer the ability to collect credit card authorization information. And best of all, we're completely PCI compliant. So you can rest easy every single night knowing that your stuff is as safe as it possibly can be, which is awesome. And now when you do create or when you need credit card authorization, you are basically just going to go to the add new, choose question, and then your response is going to be card authorization. But I'm one step ahead here, because if you are new in your account or you haven't turned this on yet, if you don't see card authorization option on here, it's only because you haven't set up two-factor authentication yet, which you do have to set up before you're using card authorization. To do that, it's really simple. Just go into your account settings and then go under security and you'll set it up. It's similar to like your bank, online banking, where, we'll text you 6-digit numbers and then you just need to put them in there. Just it's an additional layer of password protection because again, safe and secure. So that's how you do that. So then once you have that turned on, you'll be able to always ask the card authorization information here. So really easy. And then that's all you'll do. Now, whenever you are sending forms, of course, we can do the automated workflow, which we'll show you here. But if you ever do just need to preview it, you can do that. You can see what it looks like in here. But you can also just completely just share it, just email it directly to the client as well in here if you need. Now, when they do fill forms out, you're going to receive email notifications once someone fills a form out. And when you want to go view that form, there's two different things that could happen. One, if it's a new client and they are not in your contacts yet, they don't have a profile yet, you'll actually be able to come into the form and then view responses. And you can see, these are some old responses here. So you can always export these out if you want, but you're also able to just completely assign them to a new contact. So it's a really easy way to stay organized, because I can just go ahead and just say, okay, assign this person to a brand new contact, create and assign, and you will be able to just go ahead and view them in contacts now. Now, let's say it was credit card authorization form that they filled out. A little bit different thing is happening. If they fill out a credit card authorization or e-signature, they are going to, they will receive a PDF copy of what they signed with the last 4 digits of the card they added. And then you're also going to be able to go view that information too. So when you're ready to access the card information, you just need to click on that person's name. And then you're going to go ahead and go under forms, view responses, and then you'll be able to view the details right in there. So you'll be able to just go ahead, click view details. You'll probably have to sign in again just for that password protection. And then you'll be able to view all those numbers. And then you could delete the card out. You know, if you're done with it, you don't need it anymore. Otherwise, it can just expire once that authorization deadline happens. So it's really easy, easy way to collect that information and get it in there. So now that we're in this contacts, I want to talk about contacts here. And I'm actually, can you see Cindy Lou Who? I am on Christmas time already. That was the name that I chose. But once you're in these contacts and you have a person in here, whether they're new or they've already been in here, just to walk you through like a contact profile really quick. Basically, you can see all the information in here. It's really great because you can add notes, which I love because, if you ever get on a phone call with them and you want to add your notes in here, I mean, perfect place to do that. So you can add that in there, break things down. You can include custom fields. If you need to collect certain information, birth date, anniversary, of course, their main details, add description, all of that. Anything you need to add in there, you can. You're also able to see what trips you've shared with them. So if you've sent a proposal to them or an itinerary, you'll be able to go back and see those. Of course, the forms, you'll see those. You can always access them, download them if you need. And then one thing that's really cool is documents. So this, you can actually save documents, and this is also going to be safe and secure. So you'll only see this option if you have 2-factor authentication turned on. So it's really great, amazing place to store information, those documents in one spot, which is just really awesome. Now, another thing that I wanted to touch on too is I talked about how you can get new contacts in here from them filling out a form. But there's also 2 other ways. You can always just create a brand new contact. If you just want to do a one-off new contact, you can do that. You don't need them to fill out a form to get that information in here. You also can import multiple contacts at once. So I think this is really handy because I'm sure you already have a list of contacts. And so instead of doing them one by one, you can actually just upload them all at once. And what's really great, this is a big pro tip right here. It's going to save you a lot of time. In here, do you see where it says download the template file? I highly recommend doing that because that template file is going to be already set up the way that we need it set up to get everything in perfectly. So you'll see how it needs to be set up like last name, first name, email, like that. And they can have multiple phone numbers, multiple addresses, all of that. But once you get it set up, just upload it. And then all of those contacts will filter in here right away. So it'll be awesome. And then the other cool thing is when you do, if they're already in your contacts and you send them a form, it'll intuitively recognize who that form goes to. So it'll also push them in. Or if we didn't get information like the email, we can't recognize who it goes to, you can set that form to go to one of your contacts that already exists. So again, the organization is really great, which is amazing. And then finally, what we had been talking about before is the tasks, which we launched this, I think it was like this spring, where you can already set up tasks in here. So you could set up a task like, send quote or proposal, and maybe I need to send, I talked to him on the phone. I need to send it by this Friday, I said, and then I want to get notified at 10 a.m. Otherwise I will completely forget. So I can just set that up. So really easy. So you can set up those tasks. It's super simple in there. Or you can do automated tasks, which I will get into now. Are you ready for this? I need drum rolls. This is going to be big. So I already showed you. I mean, you kind of already saw how the automated tasks works, but I'm going to show you the really game-changing way of using it. And that is by using a task list. So as you saw earlier, you can just go in and set up an automated task whenever you want. You can do that. And you can set it up into a contact or a trip. But if you go into your library and you choose new library item, choose task list. Now, this is where you can start to set up a whole list of things that need to happen. This could be for a lot of different things. And actually in the chat, if you're using this already, let us know how you're using it. And as you're going, you'll have to let us know what ideas you start thinking of, because I'm going to give you 2 examples today, but I know there's so many examples that you could do this with, but I'm going to create a pre and post trip task list. It's just going to be about 5. But think of this though, this way, you can make this task list like a lot. You can make it 9 to 12 months in length span, because again, you never want to miss a beat. So I've seen some already that are really long and extensive. And when you create these task lists and then you upload it to a trip, you can decide to delete some of them, or maybe you don't need all of the tasks, but at least you have a task list that's set up so you don't miss a thing. And that's the whole point of it. So I'm going to walk you through this example. So again, I'm going to do a pre and post task list here. Okay, let me go. Open. Someone said I have a 13-step list I assign to every book you see, and that's perfect. It's not too much, and you don't miss anything. So I'm just going to go ahead and title this pre and post. Now, I'm going to add automations and tasks together. So the first one, let's add, let's say that 30 days before the trip, we want to review the itinerary and just make sure it's finalized. So I'm going to add a task. And now this is how I do it. I'm going to give it a title here. So that way I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm going to say itinerary review, finalize. Now, again, for the date, this is for a trip. So I just want to say 30 days before the trip start date. So then when I add this to the trip, it's automatically going to know what dates that needs to happen on. You can also give it a time if you wanted, and then you can add notes too. So if you need to add any notes in here, you can. But that's it. I'm just going to say, okay, done. There we go. So now I have that one. Now, maybe the second thing is going to be an automation, and it's going to be, I want to automatically send the trip invite to my client with a message from me. So how I'm going to do this is now I'm not going to choose task. I'm going to choose automation because I want this to happen on its own. So I'm going to choose add automation. Now I can choose, is this a form or email trip invite? I want them to send the email so that they can open up and view their itinerary. And then I'm going to include a custom message. And this, I'm very excited about this one because look what I'm doing. I'm putting the weather forecast in there. So I'm saying, because I hear all these really cool tips from advisors where they'll put like the weather forecast in there or a packing list. So I said, I have included a packing list within your trip, but it's under trip info and documents. So I already put it in the itinerary, but now they know to go find it in there. How cool is that? So I'm just going to go ahead and say that. And again, another pro tip here, you can also create saved messages. So if you don't want to have to, recreate certain things, you can also save messages in there. But now that I have this in here, I can say, okay, done. Oops. And I need to give this a date. So I'm going to say this is going to be 10 days before the trip start date. So there we go. Okay, so now that is done. Okay, so now the last thing I want to do, or there's a couple more here, is now another thing that I see users do that's really smart is double checking if they have the mobile app downloaded. That's a big one, right? So if we go, we can click, I'm going to add a task for this, and I'm going to say, mobile app check. And this is for me to know. This is just a task for myself to go look. So I'm going to add a note here. So I'm just adding a note that says, check if they've downloaded the app. If not, then I'll manually send that trip invite message, which you could set it up as automation too. But just a really fun side thing, the mobile app check, you can actually see if they've downloaded it. That if you go into the trips and you go under trip activity, you'll be able to see if they've downloaded it. So if you go in there and it doesn't say that they've downloaded it yet, you can be like, okay, I'm going to have to go send them that that email, which is really, really cool there. So there's that one. Now, let's say, I have one more automation to add. It's an invite again, and it's the bon voyage message. It's just a really simple one, just one day before that trip start date. It's really easy. Now, the last one that I want to add here is, let's say this is post. This is after the trip. And I've created a form that I want to say, okay, how was the trip? What was your favorite thing? Like, I have a form that I want them to fill out and let me know how it was. So I could set that up by just saying add automation and then choose form. And then I can select that form. So I could say post, which I actually haven't created a form for that yet. But if I created the form, then I could say, post trip survey. And then that way it goes out, let's say like 5 days after the trip or after the trip end date. There we go. So we could say it that way too. And I'm just going to add a form in here just to make sure that it adds something. But that's all you do. So check that out. I mean, I just created now. And so now if I ever need to use this, all I'm going to do is go into the trip here. And then I'm going to click on that trip. So let's go to, I'll go into this one. Now I'm going to go under tasks and automations. And I am going to go ahead and say add. Now I want to do task list because remember, I've already created this. So I'm going to say task list. And now here's the ones that I've already created. I want the pre and post. Now you can see some of these are overdue because of my trip start date, but otherwise you can see, and I also could go ahead and check these out. Once they're done, I can say, okay, that's done. This one, this was unscheduled because it was obviously in the past, but you can also choose to send things right away. So if you ever are like, oh, I need to send this right now, you can do that as well. You can just go into that task and then choose the option just to send it right away, which you can do as well. So you can go in there. And then again, just another little pro tip here, you can still include other tasks. So even though you add a trip task list in here, you could still say like, if this is a particular, you had to do something a little different on this trip, you can still add a task on your own in there as well. So really cool. One other thing that I just want to quickly share, and then I'll get into some questions here, is I showed how to add, like a simple pre and post task list. But I know a big one is also going to be needing to do these for deposits or making payments, where that's where you can use the credit card authorization form. And to do that is really easy as well. You can just say that, we'll just say new item and we'll do a new task list. And then I'm just going to say, deposit and payment. And then I can just add the automation. It's a trip or form. And then I can use my credit card authorization form. You will have to put the authorization information in there as well. So you do have to put that in there. But then you would want to send that. You could set that up in the contact itself because again, it's going directly to that person. So maybe it doesn't have to do with, like the trip list. So you can just go ahead and add that task list right in here as well too. And then again, you can choose to go ahead and send it now. Or if you're like, nope, they actually already paid. It's okay. I'm done. I can delete it. So that's how you can do that. So you do have that option, which is really, really great. Now, a couple of things that I do want to point out, want to make sure that I get all my little tips here. So being able to send immediately, you can do, deleting them. The other thing is in your mobile app, the Travefy Pro app, you can actually view your task lists in there or your tasks that you have upcoming. You can see those in there too. So that's a really great way to see, when in the morning, you start your day and you're like, what do I have to do today? You also can see them all though, when you're in your Travefy account. At the top, you can see this clipboard up here and you can view all of the tasks in here as well. So you can see I have something due today, which was that mobile app check is what I have. So that's actually overdue, but you can see in here that that's where those are living. Now, the other cool thing, if you are familiar with Travefy's ability to share items with one Travefy user to another, you can share the task list, which this is where it's truly going to be amazing, game changing, because in here, you can actually, if somebody creates this really epic task list and they want to share it, or you have a colleague who's like, hey, can you share that with me? All you have to do here, I'm going to send this. I'm actually going to share this with all of you. So I'm going to just click the share button. And then I'm going to share this. Now I'm going to copy this link. I'm going to throw this in the chat here. So I'm just going to say task list. So you can download this to see. But when you go here, this is what it'll look like. You'll see right here, it'll say copy to library. One thing that's really awesome, I don't have a form actually in here set up, but if there was an automatic form that I was having sent and I share this with somebody, they'll get that form too. So it's like a full package deal, which is really, really awesome. And because of that, I also want to invite you to join our Facebook group. So I know Bonnie will put a link, or yeah, Bonnie's going to get in the Facebook group and put it. But if you can also share a link to the Facebook group, because you should join that. And we are really, really excited to see what you're creating, what you're going to use this for. So let us know in there. And I think it'll be really cool too for other people just to get ideas. I mean, I'm really excited to see what you all do in there. It's going to be awesome. I'm so excited. But with that, I know we'll have time for questions here, but head over to the Facebook group and then we can keep, conversation going and see what you all are building. But I also want to note that if you are new to Travefy and you want to try this out, if you go to Travefy.com, you can do a free 10-day trial. You'll have access to everything I've shown you. But I also realized we didn't even talk about some of the big things here too, which is like itinerary building and marketing with, with landing pages. There's so much in Travefy. So with that, I also want to invite you to either register for a weekly webinar, sign up for a one-on-one demo, a training. We also have live chat in our account as well. But if you go to our support center at travefy.com/support, you'll find videos in here for everything, minus automations until later today, because it's very new. So that you'll start to see come up some more videos of that as well. But it's going to be really cool. Okay. I'm going to get into questions here now because I know there's a lot of them coming through.
There are more than a few questions flying in here, and they're good. They're deep. Yeah. I like it. So this is where it's really fun. I would say that I'm probably the biggest CRM nerd at Travefy.
Yeah.
But okay, Bonnie's shaking her head emphatically. Yes, you are a nerd, Scott, and you're also into CRMs. But no, love this because these questions really get into how you run your business and the workflows and the operations and logistics that you set up. I love that. It's super interesting to hear and to learn from you guys and to know what you're looking for in there. First question in there, how does this work with teams? Can we create a single item or an automation that then the rest of my team on Travefy can use?
Yes. Yeah. So you can always do that. And one thing that I really love about this too is when you set up these tasks, you can also change who the owner is. So like I have a team member in here and I could say, hey, Emily, you're the owner of this task. So you can actually set up tasks for other people on your team too. But otherwise, that's where it really comes in handy to create those task lists and then they can use those too.
Yeah. So what's also really powerful with this that Stephanie touched on, but I want to draw this out. If you have a virtual assistant or an assistant or a supporting agent that works on your team, you can assign tasks to them in this process. So that's really powerful so that then you can focus on the things that you need to do as being the owner or the lead salesperson on the team, but then your other team members that handle some of those back office, mid office type things, you can assign the appropriate tasks to them as well. Do you have sample forms to share? If so, how do we find them? So I'll let you show them and I'll post the link.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So if you go to our help center at travefy.com/support, and then scroll to where it says library samples. And this in here, and pretty soon we'll have task lists in here as well. But you'll be able to see travel content. But if you click on forms and actually, we already have it's ahead of me already. Forms in here, you'll see all the forms that you can fill. And these were by actual agents. So thank you again to the agents who've shared these with us. But it's really awesome. And again, yeah, here's some sample workflow, one to just get started with tasks, so you can check those out as well. But then I also, again, really invite you to check out the Facebook group. And, a lot of people share like what they've created and what they're doing. And it's really cool community to see and share everything.
Yep. Awesome. And automations is literally hot off the press. So we will add a sample into the library sharing gallery that then you guys can download. And then I didn't see, did you share the link to the task list automation that you created in here?
Yes. So I think I did. Yeah. Yep. Here it is. I'm going to reshare it. So here's the one that I created in there.
I missed it amidst the flurry of questions coming in. So that's my bad. Awesome. So yeah, you can copy this one to your account that Stephanie has pulled up, just so you can get in there and see how she built it and what that looks like in there. Now, the next question, easy. I'm throwing slow pitch softball here.
I like it.
Steve asked, can I do a free trial of Travefy and how much does it cost?
For you, Steve, yes. And it will be free. Yes. So if you just go to Travefy.com, you can do a free 10-day trial. And during that trial, you can access everything. The one thing I would recommend, though, is during that time, definitely check out our help center. We have short videos, long videos, FAQs, whatever your learning style is. But also we do one-on-one demos. So feel free to schedule a demo with our team as well during that time. And they can make sure that you're utilizing everything and showing you how you can use Travefy.
Yep. No, if you're not currently using Travefy and you want to jump in, our sales team is incredibly helpful. I am very biased because I love them. They're all my friends and I work with them closely, but they're not pushy. They're here to help you. They want to answer your questions and help get you invested and started in the software. So definitely start a free trial, schedule a demo, and we're here to help. Now, I'm going to give Stephanie a break. I'll take the next question. Jane asks, how long are credit card authorizations stored? And does Travefy keep a record of the credit card authorization to help protect agents? And so here are a couple things. The first thing that I want to mention to answer this question is Travefy is end-to-end PCI compliant. We go through an annual, pretty rigorous auditing process through a third party to verify and validate an attestation of compliance. Those are a lot of fancy words to say we go through industry standard security reviews to ensure that we are PCI compliant end to end. That's really, really important. So if you're using other softwares and systems, make sure they can actually tell you and verify and show you an attestation of compliance to be PCI compliant. We're surprised there are many services that don't do this. Now, with that being said, credit card authorizations are PCI compliant. When you send them to a client, they fill it out. The credit card authorization is stored, all the credit card details are stored for up to 2 years on Travefy, with the exception of the card security code. So you can collect the card security code through Travefy's credit card authorizations, but that card security code will only be stored for up to 30 days for PCI compliance reasons. In the spirit of PCI compliance, that card security code is designed for a singular authorization, singular purchase for that. That's why we don't store it in perpetuity. So the credit card details, 2 years, card security code, 30 days. If it expires, you just send another credit card authorization to the client with the details for that. Now, having said that, the entire credit card authorization, when the client submits that, is stored as a PDF document, and you can actually view that in the client profile so that then you can actually download the PDF. So if something gets called into question by the client several months down the road, you can download a PDF and show them exactly what they authorized, the amount that was authorized, the dates that it was authorized for, has their e-signature and IP address and the time and date stamp on it. So you have great records to protect yourself in that process. Next question in here. Are you ready for this? Melanie asks, where do I get notifications for tasks and reminders?
Oh, yes. So a couple places. So this is where, so you'll get it right here. Like, see that little red dot just calling my attention up there. You'll see that when you log into your account. So you'll see that. But that's where I recommend make sure you have the Travefy Pro app downloaded on your phone, because that will actually send you push notifications when things are due and when things are happening. So it's a great way to know. And then also kind of on that, you won't get emails for like when tasks and like for everything that's due. I mean, that could be a lot. So we don't do that. But if anything ever gets stuck, like let's say an automated form is like it bounces, we'll let you know. So we will let you know via email, like saying, hey, this something needs your attention. But otherwise, if it's like overdue or it's due today, you'll see that red dot in here, or on your mobile app, you'll get it pushing and letting you know that in there too.
Awesome. And sorry, this just made my heart warm today. Rachel posted in the chat, Travefy equals best investment ever. Rachel,
yes.
Thank you for those kind words.
That's awesome.
We work really hard to build this this software and these tools for you, for the travel advisor community. And so many times we're just like in the trenches working super hard. And then when we hear feedback like that, it just makes us feel so good. So thank you. We really appreciate that.
In the trenches. I like it.
In the trenches. Awesome. Sorry, I lost my place in the questions. Aline asked, what app should I download to view my trips and my tasks?
Perfect. So the Travefy Pro. So Travefy Pro is the app you get. Trip Plans is the one your clients download. So that's the one that your clients will be using, the travelers, but Travefy Pro is yours. Boom.
If you don't have it, get it. It's super helpful. You have every trip in the palm of your hands. And especially if you do a lot of FAMs and travel a lot of yourself, it's so useful, so convenient to have that available to you. Mm-hmm. Juanita asked, where can I view records of completed tasks or automations?
Ooh, that's a good question. So if you come in here, you can view all tasks, and then you just can choose complete. So you can see it in here. Now, here's another thing that's really cool is I don't have an actual example, which I need to let a form actually go out and act like it's real in my account for you to see. But you'll also be able to see when a form does go out, you'll be able to see who it was sent to. So a good reason for this is, let's say you're doing a group trip and somebody comes on, after you've already sent some forms, you can go back and say, oh, they didn't get this, or I can see that this task wasn't, or this automation wasn't sent to this person specifically. And you'll be able to see those just right under. In these, you'll be able to see, or I believe it'll be in trip activity, is where you'll be able to see that in there. But otherwise, if you just want to see all tasks, just click into that little clipboard on the top and then just filter by completed tasks.
Yep. Awesome. And Angela asked, when I create the forms for a client, can I also use those forms for other clients?
Heck yes, you can. That's the beauty of it. And so with these forms, so in your library, one thing I really love about the forms is that you can always copy them too. So if you ever want to create forms to use just as your basic templates, do that. And you can add like a label in here, or you can just put the title as template. And then when you open these forms up to edit them, you can actually click these three dots and click copy. And so that way you can always just build new versions of those forms if you want for trips, or just continuously keep using the same form over and over again.
Awesome. These are good questions.
They are. Yeah.
Angelique asked, can I collect payments through Travefy for planning fees?
Oh, great question. Yes, you can. So that is using our handy dandy invoicing system. So to access invoicing, what you need to do is click on your name in the top right-hand corner and then choose invoice. So it's hanging out under here, under your profile. And this is where you can set up. So now a little bit of a back thing with this is we currently use Stripe. So you'll have to set up an account through Stripe. It's really easy. Stripe's great. It's who we personally use here at Travefy as well. But you'll have to set up your account with them, and then you can connect like your bank, all that information. And then it just might take like a day, or it might, I think it can be up to a week or something of just for them to approve you. But once it's approved, you can start creating invoices here. And you can assign it to a contact. So you can say, I need to send it to John Doe. And then you can put the total in here. And then you can say like, what is it for? I mean, planning fee, but depends on what you want to call it. And then you can also put a memo here. But then you can just send the invoice. And then they're going to receive the invoice via email. And then they'll be able to put in their information, but it's all going to go through Stripe. So then you can then go through in here and you can see this button where it says view in Stripe. And then it'll take you out from Travefy into Stripe. It's really easy. That's why I like this. It's very simple, which is really great. So that's how you can do with the invoice with planning fees. Now, keep in mind, we do have the credit card authorization option for other things like paying suppliers, other things like that. But when it comes to fees, you can use our invoicing system.
Yep. And a quick follow-up question to that I'll help with. Danessa asked, do you take a fee when you use Stripe's payment processing through Travefy's platform? The answer to that is Travefy does not add any fees. So that you're just, what you would be paying for essentially is you can process the payment through Stripe, and Travefy doesn't add anything, doesn't take anything from that. The only fee that's applied to that is Stripe's in kind of industry standard payment processing fee. That's with credit cards, 2.9%. If your clients do ACH, if you allow them to do that, that's closer to 0.8%, I believe. But if you look across industry standards of payment processing, that's pretty competitive, and they're at the 2.9%. But again, Travefy doesn't add any transaction fees to that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Stacy had a great question. Can you say the standard task or automation list that you use on every trip?
Yes, and I would highly recommend that too, because it's very similar to what I created with this pre and post. And again, this could be way more lengthy, or you could split it up and say, this is the pre, this is the post, because you can put multiple task lists on a trip too. So all you would do is create it in here. And then you come to your trip, and then you would just click on here. We'll go in this one, click tasks and automations, click add. And then you can choose to add them one by one, automation tasks, but you already have something saved. So you want to choose task list, and then you would just go ahead and add that in. And then once you get in here as well, you can always change the date. So I saw some questions about that too. Like, what if, the trip has the date yet or all that. So you can come in here and you can change it. So you can change this. So even though you set it up differently in your library, you can still change it once it gets on that trip, which is really great. So you might just want to go through, check dates, and then that's it. And then you can set it and kind of forget it, which is really nice.
That's awesome. And then Todd asked, are there instructions for the mobile app that I can share with clients? And so I'll let you show, and I will post the link.
Yes, awesome, cool, because this is really great. So this page right here is helpful for you, but it's also made for the traveler to view this. So we intentionally did that to make, so feel free, use this like for your marketing. We see that all the time where, advisors will show this, like, look what I can offer. I have this really cool app that you get to download, and you can share this link with them, and it'll explain, why it's really great, why they'd want it. And then this video will also show them how they get it. And then, or if they want to view it this way, they can just view these 5 steps, and it's really simple. But it is handy, to share something like this. And this is what I would recommend. If you put this link in one of your trip invite messages and say, have you downloaded the app yet? If not, go to this link. Here's how. Pretty cool. I think it's pretty nice little workflow there.
Mm-hmm. No, we literally built this page so that it has 0 Travefy branding on it. We wanted this to be very usable so that you could put it into a pre-trip email that you share with your clients. I see some agents that actually build this into a library item and then add that library item to an itinerary as like pre-departure information. Download the app. Here's instructions. Go to this page. So definitely feel free to use this if you care to. I've seen agents do this. They'll actually incorporate some of these items into their marketing of book through me. You get a mobile app. Here's a little screenshot of it. So they're kind of clever ways that you can use that. Now, I will say, I know we're running very short on time. There are lots and lots of questions coming in. So I first want to, in advance, apologize if we don't get to your question. The cool thing is with CRM-oriented webinars that we do, we get lots of really good questions, but they're also not questions we can answer in like 2 or 3 seconds because they're so deep into your workflows and require Bonnie, Stephanie, myself to take more time to really thoughtfully respond. So if we don't get to your question, that's not because we didn't want to answer it. It's because they're flooding in and we can't get to all of them. So if we don't, feel free to either head over to support, jump in the live chat inside your account, or head over to the Facebook group and feel free to share questions there that other users can help you with, or reach out to our support team. Both are great options in there.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I did see one question that I was going to answer here, and I just threw in that, Trip Plans app link in there. But somebody had just asked too, any tips on using them for groups? And I do want to mention something. I pointed this out, but I know there's a lot of things, so it's very easy to miss. But when you come in here and you add new like automated forms or email trip invites, you still have the option. We'll automatically set it so it sends to everyone on the trip. But if you have a group trip, you can also set this to send to only specific people. So I think that's really cool too when you are dealing with group trips. If you ever need to segment things out, you can. So that way you're still controlling who these are going to. So I just want to point that out because I thought that was a nice tip to know.
Mm-hmm. No, that's awesome. So another question that popped up here that I want to jump in and help with. Matt asked, oh, hold on here. No, not Matt, Rhonda. Rhonda asked this. I want to set up a form to collect passport information requiring e-signature. Is this secure? Is this PCI compliant? So a couple answers on that. Is it secure? Yes, it's secure. Is it PCI compliant? Yes, all of the forms, the entire platform, the system's PCI compliant. We are adding some features in the future that will better support this specifically. So watch out for more on that. Let's see here. Feel free to fire away with questions. I'm just like reading the stream of questions just in the last minute or two that we have.
I do want to mention too. So there's a couple questions here, like to do like automated text for like Oliver asked, can you send a group automated text for a family vacation? So what you would want to do, so 2 things to that. One, what you would want to do is you would just set it up as an automated email trip invite, because this still goes to them like it's an email, but it gives them the trip too. So they'll see the itinerary. But this is the way that you're going to want to use it right now, where you're sending the message and the itinerary is just coming with it, which is actually pretty helpful. But keep the kind of feedback coming, because that's, as Scott was mentioned at the beginning, like what are the things you want to be able to do? What do you do now that you would love to be able to automate? Because again, I'll be sharing these with our team after this too. So thank you so much for all of the questions. It's great.
Yep. Now there are 2 questions all around invoicing, credit card authorization that, depending on what you're doing, can be answered in a few different ways. And so I'll touch on both of these. So Becca asked, is there a way to make it so that the client covers the processing fee for an invoice, like for a planning fee? Easy answer to that is yes. So in the way that you set up the invoice in Travefy, I would actually recommend that you adjust your planning fee accordingly so that then the client is already covering it. It's padded into it. Now, Stripe, who we integrate with, has a lot of really powerful tools. And so you may want to dig deep into, like, pop the hood on the Stripe engine. And there may be ways or tools that you could back into that as well through the Stripe settings that you're using in there. Now, also in the vein of invoicing, of charging planning fees, Jasmine asked, can we set up recurring payments for credit card? So for example, maybe you run more of like a travel concierge business and you want to run an automated monthly recurring charge for like a concierge business for travel planning services. Well, you could send the initial invoice through Travefy. So that way it comes through really nice to the clients. But then at that point, their credit card information is in Stripe. And so then within Stripe, you can actually set up those recurring payments or products and things of that nature. That's outside of Travefy, but now that you've set up that link, it makes it really easy to do between Travefy and Stripe for that. So more of just a heads up with that. Now, if it's not truly recurring and you're just looking for laying out payments along the way leading up to a trip, that's exactly what Stephanie covered today in the automations and task lists. You can set up a credit card authorization form or multiple specific credit card authorization forms, and then have them sent 120 days out from the trip, 90 days out, 60 days out, 30 days out, et cetera. So it's pretty powerful with that and takes a lot of that headache and day-to-day task load off of your shoulders.
Yeah, that's perfect. And one thing that I want to mention too, last, because I know we're already at time. I can't believe it. These go so fast. But Angela had mentioned, like with these trainings, and I just want to mention again that we do have there's a lot of opportunity for you to work directly with us in training, or if you like to just go out and just blaze your own trail, you can do that too. But I want to note again to go into the Help Center, which if you're in your account, you can click on the Help button in the top right-hand corner. And in here, we have a really awesome Getting Started guide, which is basically just kind of bite-sized videos that are 3 to 5 minutes in length, covering a lot of different things. But we also have those weekly webinars. Or the other thing that I like to mention too is those one-on-one trainings. So definitely if you're like, man, I want to talk to somebody, through a screen and explain what I'm trying to do and have them tell me what I need to do. We love that. That's where we can schedule a training with you too. So just note that we are here to help in every form and way that you need. So let us know, of course, too.
Yeah, this has been awesome. I'm going to go get a moist towelette and cool off because you guys have been giving me a workout with all the questions. Bonnie's sweating as well. I can see it. You're glowing. You're not sweating. But no, this has been awesome. Please do head over to the Facebook group and share that one thought of how are you going to use automations into your daily workflows. But then also we want to hear your feedback. So share that feedback in the live chat of things that you hope to see in the future, as well as in the Facebook group, any ideas or things that you'd like to see with automations. Again, this is just the beginning. We're, working really hard building these tools that make it a better and better platform to help build and grow your business. So we've got your back. We're going to continue working really hard, but we really appreciate being here today. And Stephanie, thank you so much for just an awesome webinar today. And Bonnie, you're the star behind the scenes back there.
I know. Just going to town back there. It's so exciting. This is really exciting because this is the first time that we've been able to just share it. So what a monumental moment here. But I know too, we'll be ready. We're going to go tell the support team, be like, guys, get ready. So feel free to reach out to us. We will try to get all those questions answered.
Brace yourselves so just send us an email. Feedback.
Yes. So thank you so much and keep it coming. And thank you so much, everyone. This has been fun.
Awesome. See you, everyone.
See ya.